Anna. Hey. God bless you, Magdalene. Hello, Anna. How are you? Oh, keeping busy. There's always plenty to do around the house. How's the mural coming? Paul mentioned your progress is quite impressive. I'll have to thank him. That's high praise from a councilman. Truth be told, he enjoys following your progress. I'll have to bring Andreas and Ulrich by sometime to see your progress. We won't get in your way, of course. I'm sure they'll love to learn about the process. I thought she was going to say the word progress again, and I was going to be, what kind of point is the game making? But I think it's just overlooked the fact that she used the same word twice, which is fine. Well, you're all more than welcome, but watch your step. There's plaster everywhere. I've just mixed a new batch to keep the wall moist. It's hard to maintain the right texture when it's so cold out. Oh, I can imagine. I had a similar problem when I helped my mother in the bakery. Rolling dough in winter was such trouble. We had to throw out so many batches that wouldn't rise. Your discipline is admirable, Magdalene. You know, I was a real rascal back in the day. I skipped on working with my parents more times than I can count. So it wasn't Big York who was the troublemaker. Oh no, York has always been more hand-working than me. I was a thief and scoundrel. It started with cakes from my mother's table, still hot from the oven. Soon it was silverware, mugs, trinkets I found around town. Ulrich's little hat once even belonged to Andreas Mahler, your father's friend. Yes, I noticed that. So that contextualizes why she stole the hat, actually. I didn't assign it... I didn't assign, any sort of character trait as thief or anything to her. But yeah, there it is. I stole it from his head. Of course, stealing is against the Lord's commandments. So my father would make me return everything if I hadn't eaten it already and marched me to church to pray. Father Thomas grew accustomed to seeing me more often than Sunday mornings. Well, I guess you got tired of saying Ave Maria? That was part of it. I grew out of the habit over time. I think I started to see why my parents had such a devotion to the Lord. Stealing was my way of acting out. But when the trouble started in town, I realized that my thieving wasn't doing any good. I decided I'd rather honor my father and mother, as God commands. It gives me grace with Andreas and Ulrich on the hard days, and with the rest of town, too. I think everyone can learn from your example, Anna. Hopefully from my present one, rather than my past. Well, I wouldn't keep you any longer. I'm sure you have plenty of mural work to do. I'll see you later, Anna. God bless you, Magdalene. Yeah, I didn't really think that, well, it's her character trait. Elsie. Magdalene, dear, what brings you up the hill? Dad was telling me your family's been in Tassing for hundreds of years. Oh, is this for the mural? I'm not sure I want to get mixed up in that. What? I want to pick your family specifically, if that helps. You're one of the few people who knows anything about the town after the Romans left. The Mullers have been a pillar of Tassing for generations, yes, though I'm afraid I only know a little bit about them. And much of that I've heard from others. Leonard didn't care to talk about the past. I meant your family, the one you were born to. Your family was Caviezel, wasn't it? Oh. Not a soul in town has asked me about my family in years. I was beginning to think my neighbors had forgotten us. I'm not surprised your father remembers the Caviezels. He was sweet on my sister before he met your mother. I am the last of us left now. You say it's Caviezel, not Caviezelin? I've always been called Caviezel, as were my sisters and mother, and her mother before her. My grandfather told me that the Caviezels have lived in this area for hundreds of years. Perhaps even 1,000, though it seems impossible to imagine a time so long ago. Were they Romans? No. The Caviezels were part of the old people, the original Bavarian people. They helped to resettle Tassing after the Romans left. Built their own home, or their new home, right on the spot where they had been living when the Romans arrived. Interesting. Doesn't that seem unlikely to you? Oh, who can say? Why does a story need to be true? However true it may or may not be, doesn't matter, Magda. It matters that I believe it, that it connects me to my ancestors. When I think of the ancient Caviezels driven from their land, only to find it again and become Christians, they feel nearer to me. Do you understand? Yeah, I think so. It's like when my dad tells me stories about courting my mom. I don't remember her face, but when he tells me about her smile, I can almost recall it. Yes, it doesn't matter whether you really remember. When I sing my sister's favorite songs to Ulrich, I may not know all the words anymore, but that's all right. Just as I might not know exactly how the Kaviazels resettled Tassing. What matters is that I feel close to her and them, even though they are so far from me now. That is what stories are for, Magda. Now go. You've got a mural to complete. Thank you, Elsie. You've given me much to consider. God bless you, Magdalene, dear. Speaking with Elsie. And that's it. This old statue of St. Moritz is in better days. Carl? But it's still so beautiful here, Martha. One more moment. All right, take your time. Oh, hello, Magdalene. Dad, look who it is. Good morning, Mistress Druckerin. Hello, Martha. Carl, how are you today? On our usual walk around town, November hasn't grown too cold yet. Dr. Stoltz says Dad needs to keep using the leg or the pain will get worse. And I'm getting old. Not so old you can sit around at home telling stories, eh? You're about the same age as my dad, aren't you? Klaus has always been too stubborn to grow old. Shame what happened to him. As if you're not stubborn too. No arguments from me there. Ironically enough. Well, Pierre survives through sheer stubbornness. Given that the alternative is Werner, I'm glad to have something. Can't even find my ass with both hands. Dad! What? Anton would have made a better doctor than him. Ah, Anton, my poor boy. It's all right, Dad. I'm sorry, Carl. That's not your fault, Magdalene. Just a babe, then. I can't... It's my fault that he died. It's not, Dad. You know it's not. You shouldn't have been with me that night. You shouldn't have. I was a fool. I'm gonna let him continue. The abbey was engulfed in flames. The heat, you wouldn't believe it. Searing the hair off my eyebrows. I was bleeding. Anton tried to drag me out of the fight. Then that godforsaken lance-neck stepped between us. I hope he burns in hell. I can't even imagine what that was like. How old were you during the revolt, Martha? 7 or so? I didn't understand what was happening. Someone brought Dad home in the middle of the night. It was dark, confusing. There was screams outside. Mom and a couple of the men who brought Dad in were trying to patch up the wound, but it wouldn't stop bleeding. She kept shouting, "Where's Anton? Where's Anton?" There was blood on the floor. You cried so much you threw up. I couldn't get you to stop. I couldn't understand where Anton had gone. Dad tried to explain, but... Martha, my dear, enough of that. I'm so sorry. How did you go on? Did I? I don't know. Some nights I think I'm still there. The abbey is always burning. My Helena passed not long after. I was left alone with Martha to care for. I'm gonna wait for him to continue. I had to keep going for Martha, and somehow my daughter grew into a wonderful woman despite it all. I suppose that was all Elena's doing. Dad, if I'm any good, it's because of you. I'm sorry I asked you to relive all that again. No, it needs to be told. We can't let people forget. Not here, not anywhere else. The abbey burned. People died. We have to remember, and our children have to remember, because when no one remembers any longer, then they will all truly be dead. It's time we continued with the walk, Dad. Yes, dear. I'm feeling much more alive now. Be well, you two. I don't know if we're going to be able to paint the burning this time around. I don't know what the options will be, but... Hey, Killian, talking to him. Hey, Mags. Sorry, I can't talk for long right now. Magdalene. Oh, of course, Magdalene. I didn't mean to be impolite. You've more courtesy than Otz and Apollo put together. Thanks, I guess. So, what are you doing? You know, it's almost December. Preparing for the festivities is a busy time. And Dad can't do it all alone. He pretends to be strong, but I think some of it is an act. He's growing older and sadder. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. No, actually, let's say the first one. I imagine he misses your mum. Yeah, I miss her too. He doesn't talk about her much anymore. I think he's ashamed. I'm not, though. She was still my mum. Yeah, people say she did many bad things. Everyone does bad things sometimes, you know? When the monks were around, they told us all about God's forgiveness. Voicelab talks about it a lot, too. So that's what I try to do. Forgive. You've got a kind heart, Gillian. Huh, maybe. I just do what I think is right. How's your mural coming along, anyway? One step at a time. Learning about the history of Tassing is a challenge. At least you can read in other languages. What if there's a history of Tassing in one of those books that no one here knows about? Yeah, hardly. I don't think this town has ever been important enough. Suppose so. Oh, I'm sorry, Magdalene. I really have to get back to work. Be well. I really don't know who I'm gonna ask for help with the book. Alexander. Who are these people? Ah, hello. Are you one of the burghers? My man and I are in need of refreshments. There are two burghers, Nico and Killian. I'm neither of them. Or you could be an elaborate disguise. Truly, anything is possible. Exactly. The improbable is not the impossible, and through such incredulity may the accomplished deceiver succeed. I am Magdalene Druckerin. Ah, and from the print shop we passed on the way into town. Yes, I'm running it for my father while he's recovering from an injury. Terribly sorry to hear that. I hope he has a swift recovery. Thank you. Not much business for a print shop at this time of year, is there? Nor for a land house. It looks like the travel has all dried up. How did you wind up here? You don't look like a merchant. No, I should think not. No, this was just a stop on my way back to Würzburg. That's the one from Padua. I'm Alexander. This is my partner, Kazimierz. We are musicians by trade, travelers by necessity. We just purchased a new instrument for Kazimierz in Padua. Their luthiers are extraordinary. We're heading back to Würzburg for the Christmas celebration. Quite an important competition there for the Meistersingers. The weather turned rotten so quickly. The rain has been awful, and the roads through the passes have all been mud. I don't know if we'll be able to make it to the competition now. If the passes do close before we're able to move on, will they open up soon? Is March soon? Oh, no. Oh, God, no. I suppose I should plan for us to stay here and through the winter. Sorry, Kaz. He's dreamy. It's all right. He doesn't speak, you see. I do the talking for both of us. He can write on his tablet when the need arises. Do the people here like music? Have you ever been someplace where people didn't like music? It pains me to admit this, but I have certainly been places where people don't like my music. Well, with your patience and God's help, we will endeavor to find music you and your neighbors will enjoy. I look forward to hearing it. Thank you. Until then. See you later. See you later, Kazimierz. I was just looking at him, waiting for him to say anything, but he doesn't. He's writing, and I need to click for this to happen. Can't talk, he says. I see. I'm Kazimierz, musician with Alexander, he says. Or writes, anyway. I'm Magdalene Druckerin. I live here in town. Are you Polish? Yes, from Kalisz. Kalisz? Kalisz, potentially. I don't actually know Polish pronunciation rules. I don't think I can identify Polish if I heard it, because I very rarely hear it, and very, very rarely hear it. I can sort of understand or spot it when it's written. I mean, Kalisz maybe not so much, but yeah. What are you two doing in Tassing? Ask Alexander. Sorry. All right. I won't take up any more of your time. Thanks. God bless you. Can I take up more of your time? Hello again. Oh, that's it. Yeah, I assume he's the musician, or I say musician. A singer is also a musician, but he's the instrument player, and Alexander is the singer. Not that at this time minstrels wouldn't do both, or some minstrels anyway. Hello, Magdalene. What brings you to my humble inn? Can a place named the Golden Hand be considered humble? Humility lies in the soul, not in the name. But I assume you didn't come to my exchange aphorisms. Oh my, aphorisms. I do not actually know what that is. But I didn't come to exchange them. I'm on my way to the Abbey. I thought it'd be helpful to explore the ruins for the mural. Ah, Kiersau. It was an impressive sight in its day. A shame you never got to see it. Lots of history to be uncovered there, no doubt. You mind yourself in that place? Could collapse any day now. Don't worry, Nico. I'll be careful. I imagine it'll be like an adventure from one of those fairy stories. Scrambling over ruins, or rubble, uncovering trinkets and mysteries. You remind me of Johanna in that. She was headstrong, fierce, when she needed to be. The mural is coming along fine otherwise. Yeah, the more I learn, the better it gets. Good, good. Can't say I understand much about art. But we all appreciate the work you're doing. What with your dad's... Well, I won't keep you from your adventure then. Besides, I've got the inn to clean. Do you have someone to help you? Oh, I don't want to take up your time. Killian will lend a hand. Johanna was good at keeping me straight. She kept this place spotless. I was young when she passed. I don't remember her at all. She was an impressive woman, even with all that happened. Have I ever told you how I met her? No, but I'd like to hear it. We were so young in Passau. It's to the east. I first saw Hannah doing laundry beside the river just south of Nienderberg Abbey. The way the sun hit her face off the water, she sparkled. Couldn't get her out of my mind. What did you love most about her back then? It was the way she walked. She struck such a balance between determination and grace. How did you come to talk to her? Luck and providence. You see, no one could tell me who she was at first. Then she appeared at my family's warehouse. We were in the salt trade then. She was a wit in conversation, too, with a bold temperament that shone through every so often. We courted. I spoke to her father. A happy day. You miss her a lot? I do. We didn't have a plan when we married. That we settled in Tassing was happenstance. When Killian was old enough to travel, we happened to pass through on our way to Zurich. Why not stay in Passau? The salt trade was struggling, and there was trouble brewing to the east and south. The Lithuanians had started warring with the Muscovites. There were rumors of peasant uprisings. That wasn't unusual at the time, was it? No, but it felt more threatening at the time. Too close. Besides, we were going to Zurich for trade. We hadn't decided to leave Passau yet. As there was time to spare, we visited Kiersau and, of course, the Shrine of the Hand of St. Moritz. Her eyes lit up. She said God had blessed us with an opportunity. The town had no inn then. We proposed the land house to the abbot, and he gladly accepted it. Oh, so the inn was Hannah's idea? No. Did I say that? It was a shared dream. Anna and I were happy. So happy. But it didn't last. God laughs in the face of mortal plans. Then Anna leaped into the arms of that fucking Miller. I didn't know what to do. We had Killian to look after and the land house. I loved her, so I let it happen. Then Otto... I'm just gonna say nothing. Anyway, then Otto was killed, and Andreas fucking Maller couldn't help but get himself involved. I never did set things straight with her. Maybe I could have saved her, saved us, if I had only had the courage. That's not something anyone can know but God. Perhaps I'll ask him when the time comes. Can't be that far off now. But I've kept you too long with my talking. You have the Abbey to explore, after all. It was good talking, Nico. And thank you for sharing Johanna's story with me. You did me the favor, Magdalena. I won't forget it. Until later. Until then. Yeah, it's good to get the closure on that, basically, because, you know, it's a story that Andreas never really could manage to see the end of. He's an interesting character. Takes the burden of responsibility on his shoulders. Like, I don't know that I'm reading too much, but I don't think I'm reading too much. When he says he discovered that Johanna was cheating on him, he said that his worry was that he had Killian and that he had the inn, which is a normal worry to you know, it's a normal thing to worry about, but that's the first thing he mentions. And then, you know, the rest of the stuff. So I think he's somebody who takes on responsibility himself rather than be confrontational, perhaps. I don't know. I don't know if that's the way he is written, but maybe it is. Hey, Vaxlav, what's up? Hello, Magdalene. Smokey. No, I don't want to learn about your flowers. I want to learn about your Smokey. Hello, Magdalene. Now, let's go to the waterfall. Why not? There's no more pig here. I don't know what that interchange with the soldier was all about. I don't have any reason to go back in, besides I'm too busy with the mural. Yes. That is true. Where am I going to explore? The vines have grown over the entrance to the old abbot's house. Huh. Even the old guest house is falling apart. Yep. There's repair. That's what happens if people don't keep things up. I should talk to Sister Gertrude since she was a Benedictine nun at Kiersau before the poor Clares arrived. She would be able to tell me all about the convent's history for the mural. I should. I think that's the game telling me that I'm not going to be able to explore this before I talk to Sister Gertrude. Potentially. And Sister Gertrude is there. Let's just have a chat with everybody else before her. God bless you, Magdalene. All of this is locked. Never be able to enter, even though we saw it when we were in the thing as Andreas. God bless you, Magdalene. Hello, sister. I have a favor to ask you. Of course, Magdalene. I'll help you however I can. I have a book, the Historietatii, and I can't read it very well. Can you help me translate it? Oh, I'm afraid my Latin isn't good enough to translate something like that. Its grammar structures are far too complex. I'm sorry, Magdalene. That's all right, sister. I'll have to find another way. There was one more thing, if you don't mind. It's about the Rat House mural. Oh, did you need more paint? I believe I have enough gals stored away. Oh, no, thank you, sister. I have more than enough paint. I wanted to ask you about the history of Kiersau, actually. I'd like to include the Abbey's founding and the history of tassing saints to the Rat House mural. I wrote to Reverend Matthew since he lived at the Abbey, but wanted to see the place firsthand. Ah, Brother Matthew became a reverend, did he? He was always suited to such a role. But I don't suppose that's what you came up the hill for. You're curious about the saint's history, yes? Yes, I was hoping you could show me around the convent and tell me about its history. The poor Clares don't allow outsiders within the convent, even other women. Mother Francisca wouldn't like anyone coming in for such a worldly concern. Well, that makes my job difficult. Let me finish, Magdalene Druckerin. However, Mother Francisca always welcomes those who are considering joining the order. If a young woman sincerely considered joining the convent, she may be allowed to enter and observe the sisters. Who knows what else she may discover while contemplating the holy life, Well, I suppose exploring all my options can't hurt. Touring the convent will take some time. Would you like to go see Mother Francisca now? No, I have other things to do first. Do I? Actually, I do. Very well, come find me if you change your mind. God bless you, Magdalene. Do I? I think I very well might. I can't go there. There was nothing to interact with. Well, let's see the convent then. I was saying we haven't seen it, but now we have. Or we will.